Heyo, and yeah, welcome to today. And something is okay. First little test. Can you all hear me? Testing the sound. Sometimes sound gives up on me, but yeah. Okay, this is quite early for Americans, I know, but I have a bit of a limit of time to do this on a Friday. Okay, Lydia says that sounds good. Great. I know you can hear me now. Yeah, I don't know if I will have a guest on, so I brought Gertrude on. Gertrude, as you can see, is my chili plant. And the chili is a variation called Blondie. It's a medium strength chili where that once it's matured, it is almost translucent with a purple stripe. So it's a beautiful chili plant and chili fruit for that matter. Yeah, we are gathered here today to doing roughly a 90-minute review rewatch for people who can't or won't see entire streams. So we will have what was going on the prosecution's opening, the defense opening, who's the witness, what did they say, what is my opinion about the different witnesses, and the evidence that has been brought forward, so to speak. Don't know, the little skinny green ones. Okay, green ones, let's see here. I will bring forward another plant I have here. Hold on a second. See if you can see. There's a fruit right there. Green fruit means usually that why did I pick this up? Usually means that it hasn't matured yet. Hi, Bella Stella. That was a mistake. Back in the window you go.
get some sunshine. Green ones often means it's not matured yet, but often green ones have a crispier kick than once it matured. Then it becomes a broader, deeper taste, maybe stronger and stuff like that. And if you're regular, you might wonder, where's Hugo? Hugo is so huge that I'm afraid I can't get it through the door without breaking a branch. So I will have, there's picture of him in my not in my comment section. It's it's on my channel over there. Oh, thank you, Bella Stella, for becoming a member. That is much appreciated. And that gives me good, this YouTube things. Like, subscribe, you already know that. If you like me enough, become a member. It's $3 a month. You get members-only content and access to the Discord. So that's good. Don't think I've seen anyone live this early US time. Yeah, I know. The only one I've actually seen is Jeff on Legal Vices. Yeah, it's PM in UK. So maybe I will catch some of the European audience as well on this. Now, normally I get 90% of the viewers are, or 85% of the viewers are live, and then people show up to as rewatch crew. So yeah. Okay. Now let's see here. Oh, I almost forgot. I do have a guest, so Gertrude won't be alone. Hi, Mo.
Hello.
Hey, you're having a Princess Leia day today?
Yeah, I was just my hair was not going to do anything. It's supposed to storm today, so we just let Jesus take care of it and put it in buns.
But this is dirt early where you are.
It's 8 o'clock. I get up at 5:04, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And every kid is out of the house already, and maybe.
Look, y'all, I'm pale. That's what happens. Is I'm pale. Let me see if I can adjust this.
I mean, that's a fun day when I am the one who looks tanned. I mean,
well, it's almost like I just don't go outside much, okay? Oh, no, you're fine. I know. Believe me, try to find foundation in white as hell. It ain't happening.
Shock.
Yeah. Well, or if you try to darken yourself up, you end up with that. Remember the early 90s line?
Oh, yeah. I remember. Let's have lots of foundation and nothing on the neck. That was glorious. Oh,
that was
sure, honey.
That was
you look tanned. Yeah.
It looks totally natural.
Just as natural as these vacuum sucked lips and whatever it's called.
Yeah. Mr. Mo said I couldn't buy a lip embiggening machine, although it was supposedly on sale in Prime, but yeah, now I'm trying to figure out how to. So as I went a little crazy on, how you didn't think you bought a lot, and then the packages start coming, you're like, oh, I'm fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah.
He's like, what all did you buy? And I said, I showed you all the things. I just didn't think all the things were here.
Yeah. Yeah. I once bought these little pots for what you call it, garden nursery. And it said, okay, how many do I need? Because then I was serious about growing lots of chilies. So I need about 100. I failed to recognize it was packs of 100. So all of a sudden, a full pallet of this little nursery. 10,000 of them showed up. Yeah, that was. I still have them in the barn 10 years later.
It sounds like me when I had to take progesterone with both my last pregnancies. So I thought I'd bought maybe like 3 10-package boxes of syringes to tie it back to the border patrol.
Yeah.
No, I still have 2 boxes of syringes left. And they're it was intramuscular. So I'm like,
Oh, well, if any of your kids become a heroin addict,
well,
they
actually, if you have little kids, y'all know you lose the Tylenol measuring thing. So
Mm.
we're set for however many I lose for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. One thing I learned when my siblings started to try to populate the world was IKEA washcloths.
Oh,
Comes in packs of 10. So since then, every kid that is born, their present from me is not very appreciated in the baby shower-ish esque as we do, but they get 5 10-packs, and they just, oh, thank you. A week after the baby is born, that is the best gift ever. You just
yeah, I'm
use
telling
one,
you.
throw it in the washer. Use one, throw it in the shower. Yeah.
You know, it is funny the things that I wanted with my first child versus my 6th.
Yeah. Jenny appreciated that.
Hey, I'm telling
Okay.
you guys, if it's a first birthday, this is my treat for all of my kids when they got to be their first birthday. Give them a small box of Kleenex.
Hmm?
The amount of fun they will have just pulling and making a mess.
Yeah.
$3, best gift ever.
Kids don't need these Swarovski crystal jingly stuff. I mean, no, box of tissues. Amazing. Hi, EU. Hey, it's a good time for excited utterance. It
Yeah,
should
isn't it
be.
like
It's not even tomorrow there, is it?
I have no idea.
It's
I
8,
can barely
9,
keep up with
10.
my own time.
It's evening in imaginary country. Yeah,
That works.
yeah, that works. Okay.
I'm gonna have to start tanning with Baker. That's just it.
Yeah, Danish people are also very famous for their ability to become tanned.
That's so unfair. I'm very famous for my ability to become red and then
Yeah.
peel and then be this color again.
Yeah, and
It's just
I don't.
not fair.
I'm outdoors, so I don't know what's going on now. Now, a bit of color maybe, but we are in July now. I've been outside since February, preparing for the season and everything. Now I'm getting less translucent. I mean,
You know, you'd think they'd be able to get my blood for blood work easier, but no. Just because you can see the veins apparently
yeah,
doesn't mean
yeah,
anything.
you can always find a vein.
Just like you
I
can
mean,
see my spleen. Can we not abuse me every time?
okay, it's not quite 10 p.m. next Tuesday in Australia.
Awesome.
Hey, Wolfram
So,
and Rossman.
what do we
and,
think
yeah.
of this case? Because this case is killing me.
Yeah, it's. I watched a few hours of it yesterday, so I know the gist of it. And apparently, they think they are going to close on Monday, which was a bit surprising because I thought it would be at least by the mid-end of the week. But hey, so I thought that we would go through. I mean, just show who the actors are, and
Sounds
in some
good.
cases, I'm actually talking about actors. And
Yeah. Oh, the amount of B-level, D-level acting on the stand has been. If it would be funny if it weren't such a terrible case.
yeah, now And I have to say it, from the beginning I said it, I want this guy to be guilty.
Yes. Like, I want all the guilty, but I'm not going to sentence him on, well, he looked kind of like a jerk and he told his daughter no to, being
Don't
high
do
and
drugs, don't
sleeping
sleep with
around.
older guys. I mean,
Same. I
yeah,
mean, I don't have videos because I can't figure that stuff out, but
yeah. But I understand, because I can understand the law and C-word chat, and I briefly engaged with one of them, which was so appreciated. What about the evidence? It's clearly he's guilty. Clearly, yeah, but this and this, I mean, that's not in trial, honey.
that's what it's hard to. So for the crime tubers, and this is where I feel like I have to say, look, that's why I said lay tuber, which is a single entendre, just what I like.
Yeah.
But I'm not a crime tuber. I have just enough knowledge to know that anything you say has to be proven in court. So I love that you guys have all seen the podcast, but that's not in evidence. And
Yeah.
and I don't care to fight with people on the internet, so I just don't watch those streams.
Yeah, and she testified, what was it, day 2? That was not much of, apparently, is in the podcast was in her testimony. One, because maybe motion eliminate, it wasn't allowed in, but also she's under oath.
Yeah.
She can't exaggerate. She can't do this. She can't do that. Because everything she said will be cross-examined, and he did, somewhat. But
well, I could see how. Look, he's coming off as a jerk because we all dislike the Turney guy.
Yeah.
But Mr. Turney, even though he's a douche creepy guy, has just as much right to a zealous defense as anyone else.
Yeah. And we know a lot about Mr. Turney, but you have to, we all have to acknowledge, in the matter of everything, this trial happens 2001. Nothing that happened after, except some snippets of a TV show and stuff, his conviction isn't there. And even if it was, he went there because his brain was so melted he believed that 2 dead union guys killed his daughter.
Yeah. I mean, all of his actions, they haven't brought anything in that says he has. I mean, they haven't brought the contract in, so I don't know if that's going to be their boom final evidence or what have you. But everything is a man upset that he can't find his daughter and acting as normal. I mean, as you would if you're a weirdo. I don't know.
Yeah. And I know the prosecution wants to spin this in one way, the defense wants to spin it in the other direction, and they had a motion denied, not a motion, but they can't bring up much of the things the cops didn't do, and I heard that from David yesterday on Cell Stream, that wait a minute, the cops have to be able to answer to the stuff that wasn't done.
Yeah, I mean, that if anyone's going to be on trial, I would think rightly this time it could be argued child neglect on the part of the police office.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, chat and everyone will correct me if I'm wrong, the aunt in California, wasn't that the aunt that also wanted to take the kids away from him?
I believe
Or was that
so.
another aunt? So, speculation, no evidence, because she has passed. Is it so out of the norm to think that she made it there, Alissa, to her aunt.
Yeah.
And aunt would refuse to talk to Michael. And then she discovers that, oh, Alissa is sitting in my basement and doing pot all the time and brings boys over. No, now you're 18, get the fuck out of my house. And then she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, let's suppose that she did leave with all of her money because that makes sense. Let's suppose she did leave. She went to Aunt's house and then she's like, look, I'm almost 18. I'm going to go try to become famous or what have you. She seems, regardless of how her friends start to spin it, like a normal teenager that, you know, of course I'm going to go to Hollywood and be famous. Like it'll take what, like 3 weeks to break into the, you know, filming, and I'll be the next Lindsay Lohan. I only say Lindsay Lohan because she was popular when I was younger, but you know, I'll be the next Selena Gomez or what have you. I mean, those girls are picked up by predators almost immediately. I know some of the documentaries I watched said they have, you know, scouts waiting at bus stops at, you know, train depots to find these young kids, you know, like, hey, I can get you $500 for pictures or, you know.
Yeah, and we know that from Jeffrey Dahmer, how that can end. Who paid $50 for pictures. And then he painted their skulls.
Well, or the Richard Akalas, the dating game guy, who also represented himself, and I believe I will be doing a retro react on that one because he has lovely curly hair. He's a big old creep, and I'm glad that he's not with us anymore. But
yeah, but people are here, and so let's start with the actress. This is the prosecutor. He also opposed the Declaration of Independence. And
he was a loyalist. He wanted to stay with England.
Yeah, and I have the advantage of playing this in 1.5. This is a specific moment because I've been having a bit of crap for this moment. So I will play a bit of it. This is in 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. And sound is up. Yeah.
Were made by the defendant at various times to various people. So one of the things that happened was, for whatever reason, ABC News decided to do a show about Alissa. And it was called Primetime then. Mr. Keonis was the moderator. When you'll see his picture here in just a moment. I've taken a couple of clips from this. This was broadcast nationally. Sarah watched it when it was broadcast. Detective Anderson and Detective Summershoe watched it when it was broadcast. Now keep in mind, the defendant is doing an interview with John Keonis. What you will hear is that on a number of occasions, either Detective Anderson and or Detective Summershoe asked the defendant to talk to them, to come down to the police station for an interview so they could, you know, find out more information to help them find Alissa. And he declined to do so.
.5 speed, folks.
Hours and hours, countless hours of audio tapes and videotapes. Why did you record so much?
Why do I record so much? Videos I record because I love my family.
Weren't these surveillance cameras in the house?
Those are for protection of the house. Does that seem
So for
unusual?
security.
Yeah, mostly for security. Why? Because I want to spy on everybody?
Why didn't you hang on to those things that could have proven that you're not to blame? The surveillance video from the day Alissa disappeared. The audio recording of that phone call you
There was
said she
nothing
made.
on the tape. They were told that.
What the defendant is referring to there is he has made statements that he watched the videotape from that day, May 17th, 2001, and there was nothing on it. In other words, nothing what? Showing her going to school. One of the statements that you'll hear the defendant made was that when he picked Alissa up from school early that day, that May 17th, they went and got something to eat. They then went back to the house. They got into an argument. He left. And then when he and Sarah came back, Alissa was gone. The defendant has said, I watched that video and there was nothing on it.
Did you ever do anything sexual with your stepdaughter?
No. Why would I do that? They have no proof whatsoever. Anything I didn't remember. Anyone knows I'm lying.
If they have no proof, that doesn't mean.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Again, there's only two people.
And that is the moment I got crap for, because someone told me that the defense didn't object properly. You can clearly hear them say, "Objection, may we approach?" And the judge shut it down. The objection is on record, and that's that's the point I wanted to make here. I do, yeah, I'm old, but my memory isn't that bad. And the times I am mistaken, the chat will remind me.
Yeah, chat's pretty good about knowing all the things. Collective intelligence for the win.
And yeah, and the prosecution's opening says virtually everything we need to know, basically, about this trial, in my opinion. There's no body. There is no crime scene. There is no murder weapon. There's no the only thing they have on him is him saying that there was nothing on the tape. Later on he goes on to say, how can we know what clothes she wore? Blah 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 blah. Well, if your initial cop had done his job, he could have asked her classmates. There were pictures taken. This was the last day of school. Parent picked up everything. There were photos taken that day. They would have had other means to get all the information they needed, but the cops didn't care.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing to me for anything, regardless of where she is right now. And I hope beyond all measure she went out. She's, maybe she's working on her Etsy or something. But in reality, she probably passed away fairly quickly. And I wish that we had gotten justice for her.
Yeah.
Rather than this witch hunt. And it seems like that's being lost.
Yeah. And now let's move on to Stumpy.
Let the record show the presence of counsel and the defendant. Jury
No,
not
I
present.
don't.
Mr. Jackson, you had an objection. I'll be happy to hear it at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. We're objecting and asking for a mistrial. This is evidence that was precluded. The state, we filed motions in limine on molest stuff being asked. They said they weren't going to ask that. And then they brought in a hearsay question from Kieras. We had talked to the state about that in other interviews, and we're explicitly said that before they brought any of that from the jury, we would get a ruling from the judge. This is
Again, for the person who claimed there was no proper objection. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, and this is slippery the way the prosecution is being very slippery, like they were trying to, excuse the phrasing, backdoor his right for side. I mean, it was the same thing they did to Kyle Rittenhouse, where they're like, well, but he did an interview. And when, Schroeder was functional, he was like, yeah, that's really not appropriate.
Yeah, because then if but it was allowed in
violation of the rulings from yourself and Judge Ryan Toohill, who ruled that the molest does not come in this trial. They brought it up and they played that in front of the jury, and it's inflammatory and it's prejudicial, and the bell can't be unrung.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's...
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the start of the trial. This tells me, or told me already back then. Back then, it was last Thursday, that this is going to be a foul, a nasty trial.
Yeah,
I believe that's one of the first comments I said on Thursday. Last Thursday. One of the So they will I won't play everything because this is review a 90-minute. Let's talk about the week that has passed in this trial. Partly for people who haven't seen it yet, and partly because I missed yesterday because of reasons. Well, thank you, Wolfram, for gifting 5 memberships to Chas Berglund, Shima, Bridget, Ripety Fullstrom, and Iris. A few of you have already been members. No, that's no problem. But I think 1 or 2 of you are not. And there's members only stuff on the channel. And you also get access to the Discord.
And y'all, I am working on getting Nick to buy a members only jacket for members only content. I promise you, if I have members, I will find a members only jacket. My pledge to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wolfram. And yeah, where was I? I don't forget stuff. I'm only old.
We were at the opening statement
Yeah.
where the defense is asking for a mistrial.
Right. Yeah. Was it enough? I don't think so. But for a mistrial. But as people will hear, and I won't go through everything, but almost every, if not every witness, the prosecution tried to backdoor in stuff that wasn't allowed, with some successfulness, sadly. But let's play a few minutes of his actual opening statement, I hope. Or did they take lunch? Yeah. Oh yeah, this was the time when they forked up. And it was 2.5 hours of absolutely jack shit. That was fun on Thursday. Here.
Just ended abruptly. They were being recorded and then they stopped because the technology isn't the same as today, where you could just have it recording forever on a digital space.
This is him explaining why there might not have been enough. For instance, why did he tape over that tape the day? And yes, I agree with many of the people here. That's bad. On the other hand, you have, when did he do it? Was it the week after? Was it a year after? Was it 5 years after? According to at least the first time they interviewed the sister and the friends, Dad was out of his mind. It might just have been, I can't handle rewatching this tape over and over again. I'm going to tape it over. I mean,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, he was sentenced in 2010 to 10 years for trying to end 2 dead union workers he believed killed his daughter. That's how messed up he was. That's my interpretation. I'm not saying it is a correct interpretation, but is it unreasonable?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, as we have learned, we can sit here and surmise or argue several different things. It's all in the way you argue it. I mean, the facts are, the fact pattern generally stays the same, but you can shade and argue it with different layers.
Yeah, I agree. And I believe I said it quite fast as well on the first day of trial, that the reason they are prosecuting him is he can basically drop dead any day now. This is their last chance to prosecute him, probably. And that's not a good reason to prosecute. And yes, I know, but they got it through the grand jury. The grand jury is shit. And I'm saying it out loud because it's a one-way street. The
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah, it's the prosecution only who presents only the things they believe will pass a grand jury. It's bullcrap. And maybe this guy will agree. Hi,
I
David.
agree to nothing. Good morning, all.
Good morning. We
Just finished up Valhalla's stream overnight. 10 and a half hours.
Holy
We had 20-some people, so
Jeebus.
we got them a few hundred watch hours. So that was good.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And
Hello,
yeah.
everybody in the chat. Tweety, I just saw you.
Oh, Tweety. Yeah.
I end
We are
my
just-
stream and she comes over here. You're just following me around. You can't get enough.
We do
And
go into
Erin-
shakes if we don't have trials.
So retired police officer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree, but the absence of evidence isn't evidence.
Is this still the
It
police?
is
Is this
suspicious.
the police officer that picked the case up in 2006?
No, this is the defense attorney.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about the defense attorney. Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, this was for the defendant. No, we are just playing snippets of we played snippet of the prosecution's opening where I got a bit of, at least from one or two people, that they didn't object properly in the defense towards the opening statement, and I played that part of the prosecution's opening statement where they objected.
Oh, okay.
And then they let the jury go, and then they had, because apparently that part where they spoke about him on that TV show doing what about the videotape, apparently both prior judges, including this one, had the defense made a motion in limine towards them mentioning something about the missing tape. I can actually go back and play it for you.
No, it's if you want to. Yeah, no, I'm just I was in part of the stream yesterday with Salvador, but I was kind of in and out. And then when we were in, we were really just kind of going over his demented crayon scratchings of notes from the courtroom.
Present, Mr. Jackson, you had an objection. I'll be happy to hear it at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. We're objecting and asking for a mistrial. This is evidence that was precluded. The state, we filed motions in limine on molest stuff being asked. They said they weren't going to ask that. And then they brought in a hearsay question from Kieras. We had talked to the state about that in other interviews, and were explicitly said that before they brought any of that in front of the jury, we would get a ruling from the judge. This is in violation of the rulings from yourself and Judge Ryan Toohill, who ruled that that molest does not come in this trial. They brought it up and they played that in front of the jury, and it's inflammatory and it's prejudicial, and the bell can't be unrung.
Just so that I can know exactly which rulings you're referring to. You're referring.
What he is talking about is, I think it's around here.
If they have no proof, there's countless hours of audio tapes and videotapes. Why did you record so much?
Why to record so much? Videos are recorded because I love my family.
Weren't these surveillance cameras in the house?
Those are for protection of my house. Does that seem
For
unusual to you?
security.
Yeah, mostly for security.
Oh, this is a news interview.
Why didn't you hang on to those things that could have proven
Yeah,
that you're not
it's-
to blame? The surveillance video from the day Alissa disappeared. The audio recording of that phone call you
There
say
was
she
nothing
made.
on the tape. They were told that.
What the
Okay,
defendant is
the
referring to there is he has made
the
statements. that he
objection
watched
is a bit
the video.
further on.
Can I just say something? This is why you don't talk to anybody at all, period. Not just the police, because all of this will be used against you people.
In other words, nothing what? Showing her going to school? One of the statements that you'll hear the defendant made was that when he picked Alissa up from school early that day, that May 17th, they went and got something to eat. They then went back to the house. They got into an argument,
Let's see, I had it written down somewhere.
left. and then when he and Sarah came back, Alissa was gone. The defendant has
Oh,
said
we assume
he
there.
watched that video and there was nothing on it.
Did you ever do anything sexual?
No. Why would
There.
they do that? They have no proof whatsoever. Anything other than anyone knows.
And there was nothing on it.
Listen here.
Did you ever do anything sexual with Mr. Turney?
Did you ever
They have no proof whatsoever. Anything other than anyone knows.
did you at any time do anything sexual towards her? That was precluded from this trial.
There's only two people
Not at this time.
One is Dave.
Yeah, and he played that.
Yeah, and he played it.
Such a
It's
slimy.
yeah.
Just looking at excited in the chat.
I will.
Yeah, that was the reporter's essay question. That was eliminated from this trial by 2 judges. The previous judge, and this one. This judge denied the mistrial. Let's just say that, and the objection is noted. So already here we know, day 1, Thursday, that this trial will become nasty. Now let's see here if we can go forward to the cross-examination of the first. No, let's see here. This is the first witness. I love this freeze frame.
Ew.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a Karen for sure.
Let's go
That
forward.
haircut. My husband has put it in our marriage contract. If I get that haircut, we're done.
And I saw. Here's the thing. The reason why this was eliminated is there was only an allegation from Alissa.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to back it up.
There is no evidence of it. You can speculate due to she hanging around with lots of boys, doing various things, that might be a symptom of something else. That's a maybe. That's not evidence. This is a trial. It's not a podcast. We need evidence. And had the cops done their job when he called in her missing, we might have found out the truth. But the
Right.
cops didn't care.
Somebody was asking about that on Salvador's stream yesterday. And I feel like in 2001, it took a lot for police to start investigating missing persons. It's not like today where you have Amber Alerts and all this stuff. We didn't have any of that back in 2001. You had to be missing for like 48 hours or more before the police were like, okay, let's go look.
Yeah. The 48 hours is, I believe, since at least a decade back, is not it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they wait 48 hours anymore.
No, because you
No.
as a parent can report a person missing for 10 minutes if you want to. The cops can say, oh, wait a minute. No, I want to report this. Make sure they accept your report. Because they have to accept it, I believe.
Okay, so David, I asked Nicholas this. Now, pretending I'm a prosecutor, I'm the prosecutor. If I could find an expert to first explain why people would maybe not, in a family report essay and controlling relationships and stuff like that, would this look more credible? I just need, I know it's
It's
appealing
not
to
the
authority.
credibility of it, it's any evidence of it.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have some sort of evidence of it existing in real time that
True.
supports it. I mean, again, so think of the probable cause standard that you have to have in order to charge somebody with a crime. There has to be some evidence that a crime was committed, right? And some independent, articulatable facts that you can point to that a crime was committed and this defendant committed the crime. So if you don't have that, then there's no probable cause. And since there's no probable cause on the SA, then you can't mention it here because it's extremely prejudicial And there's
Yeah.
no probative value because you don't have that probable
Yeah.
cause.
Even the allegation is so inflammatory, it
Yeah.
cannot be accepted. For instance, they interviewed all her friends, her co-workers, teachers, family, 2008, 2009. Not one mentioned these allegations.
And it's so
Yeah.
inflammatory that at least in Michigan, and I think in most of the states, it's per se defamation. If you say that someone committed SA without any sort of evidence to back it up, it is on its face defamation of that person's character. Unless you have something to back it up. And if you're saying it outside of a court context, you could easily be sued. So, without any evidence whatsoever, it's really bad. No, shut up, Watch.
Let's see
I
here.
thought that was me. I was like, what the hell did my phone do now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this
Well,
is the end.
that's
Then
it. It might, but it hasn't been presented or entered into court yet. The contract is something we've still heard about but not seen, at least in everything I've seen so far. And I've missed a little bit.
Mad, you bring up the contract, and I honestly haven't seen it. I have no idea what it says, so I don't know. But apparently it wasn't enough for this court because no one's allowed to talk about it.
yeah, unless the judge feels that the door has been opened in any shape or form, and it will be shown on Monday as a final. But
No, Salvador. The burden of proof is on the person who made the statement to prove that it's true.
But let's play.
Although-
This is the first witness, friend of the family.
With Alissa and her family at their house?
Yes.
Did you spend time with them in social settings?
This is direct.
Yes. Most of that was at their house, though.
All right. Did you know Alissa at school at all?
The last time we went to school
The
together.
way she
was
leaves her
elementary
mouth hang
school.
open.
And can you
Yeah.
please explain?
She's the
and this,
female version of
time-
a mouth breather.
Yeah,
Oh.
and she's doing this to avoid tears. Da da da. I was showing this because I wanted to show this is during the cross-examination.
Oh,
That I
those
can
are some
recall.
eyeballs.
He spent most of his time trying to find her.
He spent most of his time away from the house, saying that he was trying to find her.
He took trips to California.
He was spending most of the time away from the house, saying he was trying to find. All of a sudden, her face matches the hair.
I thought it matched
True.
the hair first, but yes, I agree. A different way of matching the hair.
Yeah, and for you who aren't so for you who are completely new here, David and I, we are trained in evaluating evidence, evaluating witnesses, how
Like
to
a
interpret.
monkey.
Yeah, like we are monkeys. No,
Like we're trained monkeys.
this yes, this is a replay. We are doing another 45 minutes, just going through. Here are the witnesses talking about it. So people who aren't up to speed with the trial, who might not have been aware of it, maybe, because Monday the trial might be over. So
Do we think the defense isn't
California.
going to do anything and
I
just
believe so.
say you didn't
He
prove
searched the
anything?
neighborhood.
unless I'm not sure, because as I listened to the final 20 minutes of yesterday's, it seems like if Michael doesn't testify, it looks like they are going directly to closing statements. Now, then we have the sister of this is Sarah, and let's see, most of her answers about Michael here is very inflammatory against him during direct. And during cross, they brought up her interview in 2008. And her constant answer was, I was told to say this. I was told to say that. And this is also something that is reoccurring, especially among the female witnesses. They are saying almost the same thing. This was what we were told. Which brings me to my conclusion that these 3 women conspired. They have talked through this outside of court. Can I prove it? No. But that is my conclusion, because it's too similar in how they act, how they speak.
Well, they definitely discussed this.
Yeah. And also, Sarah here, I don't know her. I've never seen the podcast. But the one thing, also speculation, is that this is what she makes her living off of. Her entire career now hangs on her father being... well, it doesn't really matter if he is put in prison or not, because they can always say, oh, the jury thought wrong, and then move on. But fact of the matter is, since 2019, that's the first time anybody ever heard that she had changed her mind in her podcast. And there are too many dissimilarities in her testimony now and 2008, which were closer to the actual event. And there is nothing that says she didn't trust her dad. So what changed between 2008 and now? Well, the dad went to prison. All of a sudden, her mom is gone. Her dad's in prison. I don't know what happened to her during this time.
Okay, John Gary, I understand that she doesn't do this, but she came off incredibly discreditable. And that's just me as a layperson who knows just enough to be in trouble. All she had to do, and what the lawyer should have told her, was, you are going to be crossed. They are probably going to bring up your statement. Just say that that is what I thought at the time, and then we can rehab you. Instead, every single witness has not remembered, had a brain fart, claimed to have lied on, well, that's what I was told. Again, all of this stuff, you can just say, look, yes, I said that at the statement at the time. And then if you had a competent prosecutor, then they would come up and they would rehab it like, okay, so you were 12 when she left and you believed her father when... But instead, she came off incredibly disingenuous. Yeah, and her podcast, the only reason she has a successful podcast now is because she accused her father. And during her entire testimony, either because some things were excluded or because she was under oath, she didn't say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a difference on what you can say when you're just talking into a microphone on a podcast as opposed to when you're under oath.
And I get she wants to get justice for her sister. I am not attacking that. But what I am saying is, if you worked this hard to get justice for your sister, you are doing an incredible disservice by acting almost full Tyler from the Travis Rudolph case when you're on cross.
Well, yes, you are doing that. But, I mean, she did manage, it sounds like the podcast did manage to get this guy charged. So, at the very least,
and that's
that
another
happened.
issue.
Yeah, and then...
yes, excited. The sister, the other sister, is a true crime podcaster, and she talked about, she has a whole podcast dedicated to this case. And supposedly that's why
It's not. It's not dedicated anymore. Now she's successful. Now she does other true crimes. But listening to her testimony here, I don't even want to. Because
we have a link in the Discord, by the way, for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, I'm not interested because I don't trust her.
And y'all, this is why I am a lay tuber instead of a crime tuber, because there's, if I wanted to spend my entire lifetime fighting with people on the internet about what you can and can't bring into court, not being a lawyer, I would expend my energy doing that. But there is a difference. We are different. Thank you. The end.
Yeah. And then we had the next witness. Sister was on the stand a good while, up until lunch and a bit after lunch of day 2. So she was up on the stand for quite a bit. Then we had this charming lady, also a friend of the family. Let's see here.
This is she's not very nice. I didn't like her at all.
Talked like a 15-year-old. She chewed gum and she just pissed me off.
She's the president of her HOA.
She is friend of the family. And I'm just going to go for, and she had a lot to say about, let's see here, where was it? This is a good picture. During cross-examination, at the end, she winked at someone. Family, I don't know.
The defendant.
She felt really good about herself.
Well, when she was, at times she was allowed to go out with her friends, correct?
Yeah.
She went over to your house?
Yeah, she was allowed at my house.
She was allowed to go to school dances?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we were allowed to do and enjoy quite much.
In regards to the
dances.
Sorry. In regards to the negative attention, is it possible the negative attention was because she was misbehaving?
I do not believe so.
Doing drugs?
I do not believe so.
Drinking?
I do not believe so.
She was grounded when she was doing drugs, when doing drinking. Now, the father comes up as a creep with the information, the little information I had about him. But now I'm starting to believe he only looks creep.
Look, he could be all the bad things, but it's what can you prove? And the same law that's going to probably keep this guy free with those standards is the same law I would like to be applied to me if I'm brought up on bogus things. Look, I look weird as heck to most people, so I don't want my weirdness to be taken against me.
Yeah.
Well, like
I showed up in, for instance, when you see me after a black metal concert, you will not. You
Please tell me you go full mohawk.
Mohawk?
That would be awesome.
No,
your hair standing
with
straight
the
up.
Spikies. Oh my gosh, that would be
that's goth.
50K.
No, that you goth. I mean black metal.
You are so mean to me. No,
I don't know what black metal is.
Yeah, I'm
Mayhem, Dark Throne, Dark Funeral, burning
Death
churches
sounds
in
sufficiently dark.
burning churches in Norway. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my pet peeve, or what the expression is back in the late 80s. Still listen to it, but more as a form of let's get all the aggressions out of me so I can function as a normal human being.
Maybe I need to start listening to that.
Feed this witness some sugar cubes and brush her hair. That's exactly perfect.
I want to braid her hair so bad.
She was sneaking out.
I don't know about that.
She was doing poorly in school?
I don't know about that either.
You were at the Turney home several times, correct?
A couple.
You even spent the night once.
Once, yeah.
Were you aware of contracts that Mr. Turney had Alissa sign?
Because she had
I'm asking,
informed me, yes.
are you aware?
I am aware.
Are you aware of a contract that he had your parents sign?
He attempted to, but they did not oblige.
Were you present when that took place?
I was not.
Okay, so you don't have any knowledge of what went on with that conversation except for what your mom may have told you.
What my mom did tell me.
But I'm not going to ask you. You're not allowed to say what other people say. So you don't have any personal knowledge of those contracts.
No.
Did you ever see them?
I did not see them.
No further
And
questions.
just
Thank you.
think about
Thank you, Mr.
her
Jackson.
at
Mr.
home and
Bailey,
you
any
don't bring
redirect?
something home
One more, Your Honor.
correctly.
Yeah.
She's married.
Look, and there's the wink.
Ugh.
And look how
Who
good
is
she
she
feels
winking
about
at?
herself.
Oh yeah, look
Uh,
at
follow-up
she
question.
is so
Ladies and
happy.
gentlemen, any members of the jury have any questions for
Oh,
this
look at the
witness?
way she turns to the jury.
It appears that there are none. May the witness be excused.
The witness may.
Any objection?
I wish that Sal was in court just to see the.
He wouldn't have saw it.
Yeah.
He would have thought the wink was for him and wrote. He would have been scribbling that down in his notebook and missed the jury.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. The
I haven't seen the contract yet. I missed
Yeah.
today.
This contract was in early 2001 after Alissa made these allegations towards him to a friend or something. And she apparently told him about it. The reason why, we don't know. That made him write the contract because he was paranoid, OCD paranoid. The plotted to bomb a union office was in 2009. 8 years later. And according to testimony during that trial, he did it because he believed 2 dead union guys killed his daughter. That's why he was going to bomb the union office. Why would he do that if he was the one that ended her? You're saying.
Yep.
Let's speculate. He has been spending 8 years trying to find his daughter. Then, or 7 years trying to find his daughter, new cops arrive. They start investigating for proper. And what do? They accuse him. That could drive anybody over the edge.
At the end of the day, though, I'm not seeing any circumstantial evidence that this woman is dead, that he did it. I'm seeing weird absences of evidence, but I'm not seeing any circumstantial evidence or direct evidence or anything that really connects this guy to a crime having been committed at all.
To paraphrase, oh gosh, what is his name? The new sovereign citizen that is defending himself.
Brooks?
You will hear, no, not Brooks, the other one, the 77-year-old. You will hear a lot of words that may sound convoluted like evidence, but in the end of the day, not possible equals impossible. Yawn. There we go. Or make believe evidence.
Yeah. And then it was the brother's testimony. That I didn't say boo or ba. I don't know. It was a nothing burger for me. But let's see here.
Now,
Let's
think
go.
of what's her name? Elizabeth Smart. Elizabeth Smart was gone for like 20 years. And then she just popped up out of the blue. Oh, I'm alive and I'm a 30-year-old now. It's possible that people disappear off the face of the earth for 20 years. I mean, it happened.
Joseph Fritzl, I mean, he disappeared a lot of people. Well, one.
Then it was then it was the other brother who was just there to confirm. Yeah, there were cameras.
I'm gonna jump off. I told Baker I'd be on his stream too for a minute, and then I actually have work to do because I've been streaming all night with Valhalla, like up at 4 a.m. and keeping it going.
Don't you have a stream today in half an hour?
Me? Do I? Someone else asked me that. Do I have a stream planned for today?
I have no idea. I can barely keep my streams.
No, it's a month from now. bail jumping day 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Brooks.
it's a
Yeah.
month. Yeah, okay. No,
I
you
did
don't
that
have
so I can like get it in my head that I have these things I've got to do coming up, so I don't forget about it. So I did Brooks. I still have Letitia Stock. I still have Boone up. And then my next thing is not until Saturday, tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which is a Zachariah Anderson stream. So, yeah, Brooks is back. Brooks is back. He's not representing himself though. But I'll be in and out. I told Baker I'd be over there for a minute, and then why don't you let me go because I got to work.
Yeah.
You hang out
Well,
here,
fine.
and then
You
we'll
go
switch.
first, and then I'll go next.
All right.
Yep. Okay.
We're working out custody on stream.
Yes, that's what we're doing. This is our parenting time arrangement. All right. I'll see you guys in a bit.
We really need to get it together. Otherwise, the court's going to make like Wednesdays and stuff. It's going to be an actual schedule. Oh, this woman.
Ooh, I haven't seen her.
Oh, well, she is just about a
Wait, who is
handful of
this?
snottiness.
Who is this?
This is one of Alyssa's friends, I believe.
One of her many best friends.
Yeah, she had a bunch of best friends.
State calls Jessica Lang.
Ma'am, if you'll please come
Jessica
forward,
Lang,
the clerk
yeah.
that's standing to my left is going to get your name, and she's going to swear you in.
How long is she on the stand for? Oh, pink pants and the polka dot. Is that a good look?
What in the...
She's
There have been
on
many fashion
for
choices made in this trial.
20 minutes. And it's more or less a compacted version of the first witness testimony. They are reaffirming each other about
She has
the
tattoos
story.
on her fingers.
And one right here, either a piercing or something right on the neck.
She has a Taurus tattooed here between where the collarbones meet. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. But also, it was just reaffirming the other female witnesses. She was very confident during direct and lack of memory during cross and a bit snotty.
Yeah,
But
she was a bit of a
yeah,
confrontational person. Also, her bangs. Something
They
has
seem
happened.
all are. They all seem to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right.
And then it was Leonard.
Y'all, I am telling you what, just him on the screen. If I were writing the screenplay, this man done did it, all right?
Yeah. But let's just speculate. Did he have the means? Yes. He had a car, he had money, he had everything. Did he have the motive? We don't know. If you don't do this, I'm going to tell your superiors. This is the man in his 20 going on 21 who went to Alissa, who was just turned 17. I believe in the United States that is possible statutory rape. But the cops didn't investigate because, here we are. And he admitted, he went there to her place. First, they went into the bedroom. The dad threw them out of her bedroom to the couch. Now, again, if dad was using Alissa as a wife, would he even have allowed all these boys in?
That's my other problem. If he were a controlling father, he would never allow her to have a boy in her room with the door shut. And then he would not. Y'all, if I found my daughters upstairs in their room with the door shut, would I let them go down to my living room to continue the heavy petting session? No, there would be parents called and like grounding for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And for you who don't know, I'm a union rep. I do labor law. The amount of these guys that are out there, young bosses who hire young girls and then do stuff. I've lost count decades ago. There are plenty of them.
I mean, and think about it. If you
Mm.
were 17 and a sophisticated 20-year-old who hopefully looked less like he needed a restraining order from a school,
Mm.
you know, said, you are so smart and wise and beautiful.
Mm.
We are all dumb at 17 and we'd be like, oh, this older man loves me. So
Yeah, and
pretty
he
much,
was
yes.
he was in such a hurry out of there. He did not like having his face plastered all over internet. Having to admit that him in 20 going on 21 conducted in making out and heavy petting. Now, just for research, okay, heavy petting. Okay, so stuff was touched. Is my interpretation of it at all, and not from outside of the clothes. That's my interpretation. So
I don't know. I just see that face and I'm like,
Mhm. Yeah.
So
And had that been here in Sweden, if parts entered holes, or what you can say, family friendly, there's nothing family friendly with this. Yeah, that would have been a good case for statutory rape. Even if she's willing, she's a minor. By law, she can't be willing.
yeah, that's my big issue with when they say child prostitute, because kids can't consent. That's just abuse.
Mm.
But
yeah, that was the boss at Jack in the Box. And as I said, I'm a union rep. I've sadly seen a bunch like that guy, and it's rarely just one. And remember, she was 17. I believe Jack in the Box hire girls 15 and older.
yeah,
Now, I don't accuse him of doing it. I'm just, by my experience, that rarely these kind of guys settle with just one.
well, and he wasn't ever looked into. I mean,
No, nothing. Never looked into, and not even investigate, even though I believe the Arizona blah 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 Bass.
Bass said it, not me.
Yeah, Bass said it, not me. Thank you for a $2 super chat.
John Gary, I get it, but he was still in a position of authority. I'm sorry, but as her manager, I mean, whether she put it together or didn't put it together, I mean, he had the ability to affect her hours, her working condition.
Yeah,
So,
and that is a person in position of power over somebody who also was a minor. And then in Arizona, there's the 24-month rule, which everybody is aware of, and I bet he is very aware of it as well.
I mean, to the
At
point
least
that
he
the
is now.
defense wanted a lawyer to consult with this man before he went on, because he was basically admitting to a crime.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers
Here's
had a
the thing,
math fight.
statute of limitation has gone out, so he can't be prosecuted. But it hadn't run out in 2008 when the cops investigated this. Just saying.
Oh.
And he was in a rush out of there. Then we are at day 4. And the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And by prior witnesses, we found out that he made her cry a lot. Now, her best friend said, well, all teenage girls cry a lot. Yeah, but the witnesses said he made her cry a lot. There were testimony about bruises. And she cheated on him. Yes, I know he was also 17 at the time. There are plenty of 17-year-olds who commit heinous crimes. Now, I don't
Yeah.
accuse this. I don't think he's capable of it because he seems like a bit of a wuss. But there's more evidence against him and the former boss than it is against the father.
Yeah, that's the problem. I understand that the contract is there, but I mean, if I'm on a jury and okay, if I was on a jury before Kyle Rittenhouse, I would have used every single bit of emotional thing. Like, yeah, it totally looks like him. I can infer that he's guilty. After I've seen all of this, I would hope I would be the one lone holdout that says, yeah, the guy looks all the guilty, but we haven't proved that he's all the guilty.
Yeah. And I know there was a bit of talk about she left her necklace behind. Well, yeah. And then we found out they probably broke up because she cheated. All of a sudden, it's not very weird that she left it behind. And when he got there a few days later, he took the necklace back.
Yeah, that's disturbing to me, but I mean,
because
look,
he
for
wanted something to remember her by.
Look, y'all, probably the biggest concrete evidence to me that she's passed away or that she had some reason or she was not willingly going away. Her savings account has never been touched. Neither has her Social Security ever been used.
She wasn't school smart, but it seems like she was a bit street smart. And we will come to the, let's see here, who was next after. Who was this? Another brother. No, this is the cop. The first cop. Yeah. And I don't remember if there was anything really inflammatory, just there were tapes missing, blah, 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 stuff like that. Yeah, and it wasn't until the next cop they got into how bad of a job the first set of cops did. And yeah, and this is also, they zoomed in on him very fast. And they had no more evidence back then than they have now. They did the search warrant. That's when they found the pipe bombs and fire bombs and stuff the father was going to use to kill 2 dead guys in the Union.
As you do.
As you do. But if they didn't have enough evidence then, because there is no new evidence since, except that the sister changed her story. And that in itself, when you change your story that dramatically, is often viewed, at least over here, I don't know in the States, as I can't use this witness. Because it's too easy to rebut. It's too easy to cross-examine. And here, and let's go back to the sister. Here is one thing that makes me believe that there is at least a possibility that the jury will convict him. He went on too hard against the sister. He did the, well, were you lying then or are you lying now? That was a huge mistake. And every day that passes, the bigger that mistake becomes to me. He did not have to say it. He just needed to point out there are so many differences and then just say, you had a better memory of this back then. Aren't you sure that you just want to have closure, so you invented that your father did this? Or something of this one. Objection, speculation. Yeah, but it is said. You plant the thought in the jury. Instead, he goes, you're a liar.
Yeah, he was a bit.
That is
He
something
toned
you use
it down.
against prison snitches. Stuff like that, not against the grieving sister. Because no matter what, she's a grieving sister. Yeah, Bas, maybe the stump told him to go hard on the sister. Yeah. The reason he found out she cheated was because Dad played him. So Dad felt sorry for the guy or something. Look, don't get hurt by my daughter. Get out when you can, kind of way. I don't know. Would I, if I had a daughter, would I play tape with her cheating? No, it's weird. It's
No, I
really
also wouldn't
weird.
have tape of her, but that's
Yeah. And here's the
think
thing.
we're-
She knew the couch was being video monitored. And yeah, and still he was playing. No, let's not go there.
Yeah, it's just all the weird. Look, this family seems like it had a lot of trauma.
Yeah, but this is it. The original cops treated it as any other runaway kid. But there's no new evidence since. The only thing is sister changed the story. That's not enough for me. Yes, he's weird. Yes, he looks creepy. Yes, he acted creepy at times. Does not mean the essay allegation was actually true. And that is what, since it can't be proven, it can't be let in. So what evidence are there? There simply isn't enough evidence. And then day 5, yesterday, we have next cop who did his best on cross-examination to talk away the defense cross-examination. He had to roll back a bit because he started expanding on questions that wasn't asked. But I'm less convinced now than I was at the beginning of trial. And that infuriates me because I was expecting more of this trial. I wanted this guy to be guilty so bad.
Oh, I know. I was like,
Instead,
anyone went through central casting for a weirdo guy who, needs to be in jail for the safety of others, this guy fits all of the parameters.
Yeah. And yeah, that is my interpretation of what has been. This is the fast version. There's more weird people in this trial than pieces of evidence. Yeah.
Truth. That could be the case.
Yeah, and well, I know the defense tried to implicate that she didn't cash depositor checks. Yeah, but I don't think she was much of a person who saved money.
No,
that might have gone to pot and providing her friends with pot. I don't know. I simply there's no evidence. There's stuff that is hard to explain away, but it's absence of stuff. Why didn't you keep these videotapes? Where's that phone call? But was there any more except? Well, isn't that it? The
I
missing
believe
videotape?
the missing videotape, they have made light that she did leave a savings account with, I believe, $1,300 or $1,800.
Mm.
And that went to the sister's bank account after she didn't show up for several years, I think.
Yeah. But they still kept it open with $25 just in case she would use it. And I know he was a cop in the 70s. But is he? I don't find this guy that clever. He's clever enough to become a cop. He's clever enough to work as an electrician. Is he clever enough to be a criminal mastermind? No. Would he have thought of had he done it? I just don't see it. Yeah, she had $1,800 in, yeah, 1,800, and it also was brought up with the last cop, I believe, that everything but $25 and a few cents was left at the bank account just to keep the bank account open. And this is damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do this. That means he's guilty. But he did that. That also means he's guilty. And if you have been tainted by the podcast, I understand you completely. I understand it full-heartedly. You have been listening. You might have been listening to this for years. I perceive him as OCD and paranoid. He might be at a median type of intelligence, but those rarely become master criminals that thinks of everything the prosecution claims he thought of. Now, is there a 3 to 5 hour gap where we don't know what happened? Yeah, but that's just it. Nobody knows what happened. And why?
Yeah.
Because the cops didn't investigate.
Yes.
And he's old. He can die any second. And this is the last chance for them to actually prosecute him. And that's public pressure after the podcast. If there were no podcast, if she just went into the cops with her new story and the friends with her new story, they would never have prosecuted him.
Yeah,
And that might also be why they chose the world's oldest man as a prosecutor. Because had they been, because this is a high-profile case, if they were certain of a conviction, they would have brought in Arizona's answer to Gravely to bring it home.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this prosecutor seems to be trying to get as many things as he can in.
Yeah, but he didn't close the account. There were $25 left on it to keep it open. According to the last cop, if I remember correctly, it was opened for years before he gave up. Well, they had to subpoena the bank documents, but it's there in plain sight. He left money on it.
Yeah, I mean, it is sus to me, the speed, Debbie W, how quickly things went from, Alyssa's things to Sarah's thing. But it's not something I can weigh in. I mean, it looks weird.
Yeah, and remember, Sarah was the golden child, according to testimony. Not expressively golden child, but she could come and go as she wanted. And she got stuff Sarah didn't get.
Well, she also was only 12, so she wasn't at that stage where she was maybe testing the boundaries as much as Alissa was. I mean, it's a lot. Look, I have 3 teenagers, and some days it is easier to love them from afar. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the police told her to take the story public. I'm talking about the prosecutor. The prosecution. The cops has nothing to do with the actual prosecution. Maybe they wanted to put pressure on the prosecution because they wanted a trial, and the prosecution said no. This is speculation. We simply don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's what, if we, honestly, this would be one of the trials that when a little time has passed, and I'd like to watch it backwards, because maybe.
Do you mean, yeah, sorry. Well, no, he changed Sarah's bedroom because after the allegations against Alissa, he didn't want to take any chances of being accused of molesting Sarah as well. Wasn't that why they changed the bedroom?
Well, has that come out in trial? Did they
I think
ask Sarah?
Yeah, I think it was during Sarah's testimony that a time later, week, 2 weeks, I don't know, a month maybe, she had to change bedroom. I believe she started sleeping in the living room or something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I haven't been sticking with this case with the attention to detail that I gave, like the Letitia Stalk or the Wild Bill case, because I'm kind of hopping around. But
yeah, and I don't know what else to say, but I don't think the prosecution had gone forward unless the guy was actually dying, or more or less dying, and public pressure. But almost nothing of what people have heard in the podcast has been admissible as evidence. And that's where we are. And I have to go by the evidence. And remember this, we are not just talking about this case, because if this is what it takes to convict somebody of murder, second degree murder, but murder very well. What about the next case? And the case after that? And the case after that? People need to apply the same rules regardless who's accused.
Yeah. And I think that's
is this really the baseline you want to have anyone, Mother Teresa, I don't care, your best friend, is this the way you want your best friend to be prosecuted and convicted, or possibly convicted? Is this the actual meter you want to go by? Because it's not about creepy dad. It's about what standards do you want to be applied on the next trial? Because if this is all it takes, then this is all it takes in all future trials in Arizona.
Yeah. It's very, I mean, look, y'all, all the guilties, but if we change the metrics of our system to get this one guy, then it's that much easier to change the metrics of the system the next time someone we don't like is up on, until we've got,
and all of a sudden
by public.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, any girl who goes missing and is gone for a year, stepdad did it. Look, he acted weird there, and there. But that's not enough. It was enough in this case. That is the thing I want everybody to take with them when we get into Monday. And it seems like unless Michael takes the stand, the defense will rest too.
Please do not let him take the stand. I can only see it going terribly wrong.
He will say something absolutely stupid, and all of a sudden everything is let in.
That's kind of my guess.
Yeah, I might be. John might have, because I've been listening to other people covering this trial, and I might be overcompensating a bit. I don't know. Maybe. I personally don't think so, because I'm trying to give you, and this is why I like having John Gary here. Yeah, we don't agree, and we don't agree on the Zachariah Anderson case, but other times we actually had agreed, and he makes me think. Sometimes he makes me a bit irritated, but I don't mind. I've been irritated since about 2 years old. So, so
No, and
again,
I get
John
that.
Gary, thank you for being here. And
Yes.
if I'm snotty against you, I apologize. Maybe, but you at least make me think, and it's good to have someone, or at least a few people, who disagrees with me, so I don't just become a megaphone for people who just says, "Yes, we believe you."
I think it was just in their presentation. You guys, I maybe way overthink things, but if I'm going to go on the stand and I want justice, I'm going to ask the prosecutor, what am I looking at? Like, what are they going to attack? I know just enough about trials to be very dangerous. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to ask them, how would I look, if they're asking me about this? It's that they work so against the justice that they're trying to get by being, and not so much the sister, but neck tattoo here and snotty HOA lady with the long hair that just kind of.
Yeah, and then Karen lady at first.
Yeah, I mean, they all, if they really wanted justice, they would not conduct themselves this way. It's not going, that's the problem I have with it. But I often think things
And
way
that, yeah, and that's a bit on the prosecution. This is what a trial is. You need to be respectful, just answer the questions, don't get snotty, don't make faces, don't wink at people, don't look at the jury and laugh. I mean, and spit out the freaking gum.
Yeah.
Damn. Everybody on the witness stand, almost everybody, chews gum, including one of the cops. I
Look,
mean,
they can't vape on stand, so we got to give them.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm actually going to send you off to Baker now. And
I'm going to hop off here and go to Baker.
Yeah. So thank you all for showing up. Keep watching. I'll see you either tonight at Jeff's stream, tomorrow on the Jodi Aris stream, Sundays, Serial Killer Sunday will be Rumble exclusive, because YouTube really don't like my coverage of the Jeffrey Dahmer trial. So sadly, it will become a Rumble exclusive from now on. I wish I could continue, but I can't risk my channel because of that. But thank you all. I'm sending you off to Baker. Tell him it's a Viking raid. And I'll see you later. Thank you, Mo. Bye, folks.
You're welcome. Bye.
Oh, where's